Hello everybody. Today I'm going to do a quick illustration with my watercolors of Bee Balm. And this beautiful Bee Balm grows all over my yard and I plant it all the time. It is, I don't think it's a perennial as much as it's a biannual. I think that it drops its seeds and then it replants itself, but it does come up every year. So maybe it is a perennial. So anyways, it attracts beautiful butterflies and also feeds the hummingbirds. And a couple of days ago, I should say, I had my hummingbird feeders out, and like I always do, and we get so many hummingbirds in our yard, and we had a bear visit and knock it down and eat all of the nectar out of it. So my husband put it away, and I'm grateful that I have these this bee balm, or monarda as you would call it, growing throughout my yard, along with other plants that the hummingbirds and the bees can nourish themselves off of. And so what I'm doing here is I'm just drawing the middle parts of the flowers very easily. I'm doing one straight forward, one on an angle, so you see a little bit more of the back, and just sort of a side angle. And I'm just going to put a light wash down of this red color that I have. I have red. I'm using a Lucas palette of watercolors. And please excuse the fact that my camera focuses on my hand instead of the artwork. I don't know why I didn't fix that, but I'm going to still use this video anyways. And because you can still see what I'm doing after it gets back into focus. So what I did was I mixed the red and the green to create that sort of muted green color, and then you could add more green to it to make it more green, so you have a variance of greens. And I like to just use a few colors when I'm painting. So in this painting I'm pretty much using a pink color that I have in that palette, and like a cadmium red. It's probably like a sap green color, and I'm just mixing those colors together. I might be using a Paynes gray or indigo type blue color to mute it later on. So how I'm creating these petals is I am literally just using my round brush, and I'm just like you do the leaf shapes that we've learned earlier in other videos. You're just lightly pressing, then pressing harder, and then lifting up. And you could twist your brush a little bit too, so while you're doing that. And these petals are like a big petal on the top and a little one coming out the bottom of that petal. It's sort of like a little tube. That's why the hummingbirds really like it and the bees like it, because they can get inside there. I started out by adding my stems lightly on there and also some leaf shapes underneath. And I also started to create my petals on a lighter, less saturated, more water in that color, so that they're more faded backwards. And the second layer and the third layer will be more saturated and darker shades of red. This is a fun little illustration to do if you're just like sitting outside, you want to paint in your sketchbook and just take some few notes about, you know, the nature around you. Just grab a few colors and paint the wildflowers, paint anything that you see outside, a leaf, whatever. Just observe it, observe the shapes, and how can I translate that shape into watercolor the easiest way? And really simplify it a lot. We want to simplify in watercolors a lot, and mostly in paintings we're simplifying in general. So when I'm satisfied with my petals, I'm going to add maybe a little bit of Paynes gray to that red there, just a teeny tiny bit because it goes a long way. And I'm just adding those darker shades of red to give this a little bit more volume, a little bit more strength and contrast. And I think that looks quite lovely. And then we're going to go back to the middles and add our details. So in watercolor, I say this all the time, you start from light to dark. You want to keep the whites of the page as much as you can, because when you use a masking fluid or something like that, sometimes you can't avoid using masking fluids, but when you do, it's more noticeable than if you're just leaving the white of the page. It just shines through the watercolors a lot. Here's the picture of the bear to the right eating my hummingbird nectar. And this is just maybe a year-old bear. So he was a pup, you know, a cub maybe a year or 2 years ago. He's pretty small. So I enjoyed seeing him, but I do not want to be outside with him. I don't want my pup to be outside when he's around. He's came a couple times to my backyard already, so we removed all the food, any kind of food source from our backyard. And that's just a safety tip for you all, so you don't want to run into a bear. All right, so I finished pretty much adding the color to my Monarda petals, and right now we're just going to add the finishing details. And so you start from light to dark, and then you go from less detail to more detail. So you want to fill in your massive shapes, and then you want to go back and add in more details until you're finally done with your painting. So from this point on, I'm just going to go add my details in. I'm making little tick marks with a brown that I created yet again from the red and the green. And you can add a little bit of blue in there. You can make it darker, a little Paynes gray. And just remember to vary the colors. And you know what? I'm bad because I think I erased this and started over again. So yeah. I think I did. So when I don't like something in watercolor, people say it's unforgiving, but that's not true. As long as it's wet and you can dab it up, you can change things pretty much. And sometimes I even like it better. So just have fun playing, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Please like and subscribe because I would love to do this for a living, but I need you. Thank you so much, and leave a great comment, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao.